What's up?
Oh, I'm just compiling all the top sports scores, news, and odds so I can make the very best bets.
Me too. BetOnline.ag.
Join today and receive your 50% welcome bonus at betonline.ag.
Coming at you from the Legacy Club across the street from TD Garden, I am Josue Pavon, joined with Cedric Maxwell, Nick Gelso, talking Celtics, Kyrie Irving, and should the Celtics fans want him back? I mean, it seems like this city is pissed off beyond the point of no return. At this point, it's like there's no way they don't even want to see the sight of Kyrie Irving in the Celtics uniform. But a lot can change between now and July 1st.
I think you guys are,
okay. There's plenty of time, right, Max?
I really think that you guys are overestimating the hatred.
Oh, Max,
I think you are. I mean, I just look at it and people, are there are certain people who are saying that, but there were certain people who, even the night we got back from Milwaukee, there were a couple of Celtic fans out there with signs out at the airport out there, just so I think
signs
that
what, keep Kyrie?
Yeah, but I think that what's happening is that because we're so close to it now, so close to it, that you cannot back away. You just see everything right now seems like it's falling on Kyrie. And we'll say this about Kyrie. Were there some amazing moments that Kyrie gave you this year?
Max, I'd be the first to say, as far as covering somebody, Kyrie's been one of the best people to ever cover. He's done things in his prime that I've not seen other people do.
However, Nick Gelso? Okay, that's what I thought. All right,
I mean, I'm not challenging it or questioning his talent. His talent is unquestionable. To me, it's the leadership qualities. I think everything trickles down from the top, Max. If you're in a bad mood, I'm going to be in a bad mood if you're the captain of the team, right? That's true. And he's admitted that himself. His teammates have admitted it. He said, I need to be less moody, right? So, and then come playoff time, I stepped away a little bit this year. I didn't cover as many games, so I got to see it from the fan perspective, watching the games with fans, and it was ugly.
There were some, and I agree with you, there were some ugly moments. But I think there were so many, jaw-dropping moments that you think about with Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, but we didn't win.
No. There were winning games. There was some real. I had some calls on radio that I'm just like, oh my God, did I see what I just saw? Kyrie Irving is the best finisher right now that I think I've ever seen.
Ever.
I didn't stop the word.
You have no comment on this?
I'm just saying. Who you give me one.
Michael Jordan was a pretty good finisher.
Michael Jordan was not the finisher Kyrie.
What about Dr. J was a pretty good finisher? No,
Dr. J was not the shooter.
No,
what about Paul Pierce?
On the rim,
Kyrie.
What about Paul Pierce?
No.
I don't
know. Kyrie, the thing about Kyrie, which is different, we got to add this in, is the fact that the three-point shot.
True.
It was not a weapon, really, at that time.
That's true.
Kyrie has an arsenal with the three-point shot. He can beat you with the mid-range. He can go to the hole, left hand, right hand.
But he can't lead his teammates.
We keep saying the whole thing about leading his teammates. Teammates also have to be able to follow.
But when's the last time you heard something like this with a superstar talent, though? You can look not too far back, whether we're talking Kobe Bryant, whether we're talking LeBron James. We had this conversation with those guys before, though. That's the thing. I mean, granted, he's never been in this position where he's been the number one guy. Okay. So he has a championship on his resume. He has never been the number one guy.
I was expecting Game 7.
But we said the same exact thing about Kobe Bryant as about LeBron James, especially LeBron James. When LeBron couldn't get past the Celtics, what did people say? Oh, he's not a great leader. People don't tend to follow his lead.
He went over to Miami, and pretty much D-Wade was the leader of that team.
No.
Come on.
No.
Come on, Max.
Let's not go with D-Wade was the leader. The leader of that team was LeBron James.
Oh.
He was the leader of that team.
Dwayne Wade had to step aside.
The only time, not the only time. Leadership qualities, you could say LeBron when they came back from 3-1 back with the Cavs. Miami, I think he needed to team up with two other players, and that's what started this whole trend.
Well, that's what this league is about now.
I know.
This is what this league is about. You have to have those other guys with you. And let's just get into this bubble for just 1 second, which we need to talk about. The bubble of Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward getting hurt. Yeah, Gordon Hayward getting hurt initially.
Yeah.
Because Brad Stevens came to me that year before Gordon Hayward ever played a minute and said, Max, I know what I'm going to do late in games. Pick and roll with Kyrie Irving and Gordon. This is going to be our bread and butter. He didn't get a second of that. So we didn't see
Right.
we didn't see the Gordon Hayward that he was recruited so heavily to be. We've only seen glimpses of it. Can Gordon Hayward, another guy, can he come back to where he was? I think that's going to be even more of a question.
That's frightening.
Yeah,
It is.
It is.
$30 million.
Yeah.
That's frightening.
Well, to Max's point, I mean, it is way too early, obviously, but I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say how many people in the city don't want to see Kyrie stick around in Boston. Like, I don't think that's something that I'm exaggerating at this point.
Have we seen any jerseys being burnt?
No, but this is Boston. I would really be disappointed if they're burning jerseys.
Have we seen any jerseys being burnt?
Max, remember last...
Have we seen them being sent back? Are we at the sports shop? And I'm not defending Kyrie, but I've been in situations where people panic. I was on a team. You talking about leadership. I was on a team that got swept by Milwaukee in 1983.
Yeah.
Swept. We got swept.
Yeah, what happened?
And the next year we come back and we win the whole thing. Now, was it leadership? What was it?
What was it?
What was it?
Was it tiny?
No, it wasn't tiny. What was it? Was it the fact that people did not like Bill Fitch?
That might have been what it was.
And threw him under the bus?
Because McHale didn't like Bill Fitch. Right?
So McHale and Robert didn't like Bill Fitch. But, later on, if you talk to those same guys, they look at Bill Fitch and say,
he was pretty good. Yeah, he was pretty good.
Thing that probably happened to me. So we go on this tirade right now about players or what they didn't do, and then there's a page that you can turn that is almost magical.
Max, have you ever seen a team that leaked this much information? I mean, it was all year long. If Kyrie wasn't, you were there insinuating about the young guys, and Rozier or Jalen were Marcus Morris insinuating about having fun. I mean, there was just so much leakage in that locker room.
Wow, that didn't happen with Shaq and Kobe. Did
Kobe, no,
I don't care. It still didn't
this
happen.
team didn't win 50 games.
Yeah, but Nick, it took them some years to get to that point. I think that's what
with those guys.
That's what I think. That's what people overlooking.
One of those teams right now you look at over the years and you go, "Oh my God, I can't believe." How about that Sacramento team? Or Shaq used to call them the Queen.
Yeah,
Shaq used to say all the time. This team was loaded. They had a chance to win the 7th game at their home and peed the bed.
Yeah.
So I think that you look at the way teams are. I think that you have to step back a little bit. Let the dust clear, because there's a lot of people throwing a lot of darts right now, including Terry Rozier right now. Anybody got a shovel for me? I mean, you're talking about digging a hole.
Oh, man.
Damn.
Jeez. That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic for another segment.
When it's time to make a hire for your small business, of course you want to find the best person for that job. Well, the odds are that person is on LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs makes it easy to get matched with quality candidates who make the most sense for your role. People come to LinkedIn every day to learn and advance their careers, so LinkedIn understands what they're interested in and what they're looking for, which means when you use LinkedIn Jobs to hire someone, your matches are based on so much more than a resume. LinkedIn goes further. They include skills and background, interests, activities, and passions. This way, you'll get the most relevant and qualified candidate early on in the process, and you can spend more time on candidates you're excited about. Customers rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in developing quality hires. So listen up. Post a job today at linkedin.com/garden and get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/garden. Terms and conditions apply.
Coming at you from the Legacy Club across the street from TD Garden, I am Josue Pavon, Cedric Maxwell, Nick Gelso. Fellas, Terry Rozier. Talk about a guy who just said everything that's on his mind as he went on ESPN and said everything that, from his perspective, what went wrong between him and the rest of the Celtics team. Take a look and see what he said.
I sacrificed, obviously my talent, I think the most. Me being out there and giving my full style of play, how I play, how Terry Rozier play. I feel like I couldn't be that person this year.
And why do you feel you couldn't be that person?
Just obviously in the shadow of some guys. I feel like a lot of the ball was in either Kyrie or Gordon Hayward's hand most of the time. So I feel like, either Terry Rozier was just in the corner or.
Oof. That's just a little bit of what he said. I mean, if we showed everything, we'd be sitting here for about 10 minutes watching him
last night,
just pretty much air out this Celtics team. Cedric Maxwell, what did you make of what he had to say about the Celtics team and his role with the
Max's
2018-19 Celtics.
Here's the thing I always say about it. This woman told me this one time. I thought it was just really the best. She said, it's one of these. You're pointing at everybody else. You got 3 other fingers right now pointing back at you.
That's a good one. That's
so
true.
I think that if you look at Terry Rozier, and he said, I didn't get the ball, I didn't get my touches. I think Brad tried to put Terry in a lot of positions where he was going to be successful. Terry, to me, this year, was a guy who dribbled east-west. He didn't go north-south. And he did a lot of, being in the same place instead of attacking the rim. He didn't do that last year when he was at his best. He was going towards the rim, making a connection, making a pass, making great reads. This year he did not make the reads. Now, could have been the confidence.
All right.
Could have been, as he says, timing. He said he didn't have the ball, but didn't they just do this thing?
The stats, the graphic they put.
I mean,
saying these things.
This is a Donald Trump moment. What we say right now.
Fake news.
You see how that was. You see that whole thing with Obama. All those people that were there.
They weren't there.
They weren't there. I had more people. Well, Terry Rozier, you had the ball more than you really saying you did, and that's just a fact.
It's true. I mean, I was kind of taken back by his comments after games 5 or whatever, the elimination game. However, it was in the heat of the moment. This was pre-med. I mean, you said it, Max. Get the shovel. Like, what was he thinking? What was his agent thinking? Did his agent know?
No, there's no chance that his agent knew, though. I mean, he must have known that he was going to go on the show, but I don't think he realized that he was going to say all this.
Well, if you open yourself up like that to a Stephen A. Smith, they're going to get the worst part of you, and if you're not politically savvy about it, you're going to look like the jaded woman in this situation.
Especially the way Stephen A. raises his voice
and he kept looking
what
like that.
Exactly were you treated unfairly about?
And that to me was sad.
It was sad. There was a part of me that was like, Terry, no, man, no, what are you doing? And he's dug a hole. He basically took his negotiation power away totally, right? I mean, he's a restricted free agent, right?
Exactly, because now other teams are looking at you to see not only your actions on the court, but they want to know how you're going to be in the trenches. Mm-hmm. That's the best thing. You don't know the real measure of a player, a person, a man, woman, until there is trouble.
But you don't think a team like the Phoenix Suns would just give him a shot, at this point? Like a desperate team that needs a point guard right now?
What is Phoenix desperate about? They got very young, talented basketball players. Their future's ahead of them. Are you bringing somebody into the fold right now who seems like he's been jaded, and you're going to say, what happens if he doesn't get the minutes?
And he's worried about the touches, right.
Coming at you from the Legacy Club across the street from TD Garden, I am Josue Pavon, joined by Cedric Maxwell and Nick Gelso, the New Orleans Pelicans, the happiest organization in the NBA right now, man. They got the number 1 pick for the 2019 NBA draft, but what does that mean for the Boston Celtics? Cedric, let's start with you. Is Anthony Davis still in play for the Celtics?
I think he is, and I believe he's in play now because I think he went past the point of no return. And the new darling's going to be in town in New Orleans. And if I'm New Orleans, I want to start this puppy over.
Yeah,
I want to restart. I got the pretty girl. I want to get the car. I can get trades. I can do all these different things if, in fact, I move him. If I don't move him, what you're going to have? This is going to be Kyrie 2 going on right now. Are you going to sign? Are you going to sign? If you have, and Anthony Davis said, if you have me back, I'm going to go, oh, my God. That would be just crazy.
Oh, God. No,
Nick,
but
what do you think?
The question, too, is, okay, so if the Celtics are in play and they bring Anthony Davis here and Kyrie stays, Kyrie's signing a one-on-one, right? I mean, he's not going to sign a long-term deal, so now you got a whole season of more speculation. I mean, do fans want to deal with it? I don't know. If the basketball's good and they're winning, we'll deal with anything, right? But if it's bad, another bad season, to me, the Celtics culture was rebuilt with KG and that team, and I'm so freaking scared that it's being ripped apart by these attitudes, and you add another one to the mix that doesn't want to be in Boston, that might be an issue.
And it's sad because I heard what Anthony Davis's dad said
Yeah,
about
I mean-
Boston, saying, "Look how they treated Isaiah."
But he wanted him to go to LA.
Then you look at it like this, and you go, "Well, how's your son treat New Orleans?
New Orleans.
He's
It's
still
the
under
same
contract."
thing.
Yeah.
So I think you have to look at it. It's a business. Is he gonna now? He is the one guy I love that can change the fortune of this team, because all those holes that you have.
Yep.
Rebounding the basketball,
defending the rim,
blocking shots, rim protector. He is able to give you those things, but at what cost are you willing to do this?
But if I'm the New Orleans Pelicans, I'm trying to ride this thing out until I'm convincing Anthony Davis that this is the place to be. You put these two together, and they're winning, Max. If they're winning, let's say, I don't know, let's say they
Zion
win.
and Anthony Davis?
Yeah, Zion and Anthony Davis.
Zion and Anthony.
Let's say they start off 15-5.
Zion and
don't
Anthony
think that's
Davis. I'm gonna do it like this: Zion and Anthony Davis in the Western Conference. You know what that gets you?
What?
Not being in the playoffs.
That's not a playoff team?
Not, you don't get in the playoffs. You just had. Wait a minute. You just had. Who'd you have the other year? You had Boogie Cousins.
Yeah. Well, that's and
Anthony Davis.
Yeah, they got out the first round.
Anthony Davis. What first round? That's all you're talking about. I don't think that. I think if you still
When
look
Cousins was healthy, they got the first round.
I still think if you look at it, Zion has a lot of growing, and there's going to be some question marks about some things he's able to do in this league.
Right.
He's not done anything in the league
Yeah,
yet.
and you're gonna question those things until I actually see it. Does he have tremendous talent? Yes, but at the same time, what is his deficiencies? So I think that I'm like New Orleans. Give the keys to the new kid.
I
Let him
agree.
have it. And we're moving on from Anthony Davis, and we can go out, say they shop him out, and they get Jaylen Brown, or they get
Tatum.
Yeah, but
to add to that mix.
Okay, but Max, if you're the Pelicans, that offer's not going to still be on the table months into the season. I mean, what do they have to lose? It's not one of those things
It's
where
getting
if it's not,
less and less as time goes on.
You get
Yeah,
you get less when you trade him. Right now, this is the maximum time for them to hit, because this is when the iron is really hot. Everybody's going to be negotiating. Everybody's moving. Who wants to make the ultimate?
Yeah, but if you ask me,
ultimate
man,
power play?
Danny's at that table waiting for as long as the Pelicans want to wait this thing out.
Oh, yeah.
Danny's willing to deal, whether it's now, whether it's January,
Let me ask you this:
whether it's at the trade deadline.
after this season, do you move Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown to get an Anthony Davis?
One of them, yeah, you do.
Because it was
You have
no
to.
Tatum, hands off
gonna
Tatum.
take one of
After
them.
this season in the playoffs, do you move Jayson Tatum?
I love this thing.
It's gonna take one of them.
I love this thing because I talked to Jayson Tatum. It's that inside my sources. Not my
Oh, you're
sources,
like, Woj.
but I actually talked to him, and I was talking to Jason. I said, and his dad. And I was actually on another show, and I was doing a segment, and I was talking about Jason. I said, they were asking me about him. Would you trade him right now for Anthony Davis? I said, I would tell the kid to get in the car because I got some sandwiches. You're going south.
Oh, wow.
So his dad comes up to me later on and goes, his dad says, he comes to me after the game and says, Max, I have a problem with you right now. I said, what's your problem, man? He said, you said that you would trade my son for Anthony Davis.
What's with these parents?
And I said, and he looked at me and said, well, if he wasn't my son, I'd trade him too.
Exactly.
Then I went to Jayson Tatum, and I asked Jayson Tatum. I said, "Jason, do you hear what
I think
your
he
dad
said that,
to
didn't
me?"
he?
He said, "I would trade me for Anthony Davis." So I don't think that. I think Anthony Davis is a special
Once in a
commodity.
generation
Yeah,
type player.
and if you can somehow pair him with a Kyrie Irving, and as long as you know, here's the thing: I don't want to lose Marcus Smart.
Oh, me
I don't
either.
want
Are
to lose
you
Marcus
kidding
Because
me?
if you're
Smart.
matching salaries,
Yeah.
Marcus Smart almost
Brown.
has to be in that.
Oh,
Wow.
that would be
So
disastrous.
that's
to me.
the problem.
That's one of the things that you look at this team, what you're going to lose, because the heart and soul of this team. We can talk about was Kyrie, but we saw the heart and soul of this team. Even when they start playing pretty good defense in Milwaukee, it was when Marcus Smart stepped on. The intangibles he has are crazy.
They don't make the box
So
score,
if you lose him and Anthony Davis is that piece, I would be distraught.
Not to mention, Max, I mean, he showed up for exit interviews, and what did Marcus do? He complimented Kyrie. He complimented his teammates. He talked about what a tough year it was, but he stood behind his teammates. He didn't go selling them down the pike. I mean, Marcus he's a Celtic.
Yes, Marcus, you think of the way he played in that last game, you could tell he was hurt.
Oh, yeah.
He was hurting.
Yep.
but he was
gave
going
it
to
effort.
he was going to leave it out. And when he got on the bus after it was all over, he was almost crawling on the bus at the for the last game. So it's just this Anthony Davis thing is interesting to me.
It's gonna be a fun summer.
Would I make that move? Absolutely.
There you have it. There it is.
The legend, right?